So this, by far, is the craziest, scariest first date I ever had in my life. The date itself lasted about 2 hours, so keep that in mind when you are reading about the tornado of events that unfolded. So, to start from the beginning, I, 30 female, met this guy on Bumble, 39 male, while I was renting a room at a sober house in Colorado Springs to get everything squared away to officially move out here. Nursing license transferred, job, apartment. After I officially moved out and got settled in, we talked on the phone a few times and decided to meet in person. It was about 4 in the afternoon and we planned to have dinner and maybe go on a scenic drive. He had asked me to pick him up from his work and we could go from there. Didn't think much of that at the time, so I went to his work and picked him up, figuring I would drop him back off so he could take his car and go home. First thing he told me to do when he got in my car is stop at the liquor store. He wanted to grab something for later. After he told me to stop at the liquor store, I felt kind of awkward because he knew that I was in recovery. At this point in my recovery, I feel okay with being around alcohol. He came out of the liquor store with 2 shooters of Patron and a bottle of vodka. Not even minutes after leaving the liquor store and me heading to the place where we were going to get food, he is slamming the shots of Patron in my car. I started noticing with his behaviour that he was very manic and kind of jumping from subject to subject, and then would randomly ask me if I was upset if he'd done something to make me mad. I already have all bad vibes and can tell something is very off with him. During our drive to get the food, he is telling me how when he was little he threw a rock purposely at a bunny and killed it, and also within the last 5 years was at a bonfire with his friends and shot a cat that was in the field. At this point, I'm totally weirded out and already trying to figure out how I'm going to end the date. This was brought up very casually, like it was no big deal. Also, he knows I have 3 cats. We get to the taco place and he proceeds to ask if they have no carb tacos. The lady looks confused and basically was like, tacos are pretty much all carbs. He started getting anxious about what to order. I could tell with his mannerisms. I ended up just ordering for us. He proceeded to then get a beer to go, along with a shot of Patron. Got it to go because of the whole COVID situation. So now we get into my car, and now I have a bottle of vodka, 2 empty shot bottles of Patron, which he just tossed in the side of the door, as well as the to-go beer and another shot of Patron. He continues to drink and would randomly shout, "Woo, look at us, we're in Colorado eating great tacos. I'm drinking, you're driving, it's beautiful out here." So I couldn't bear the date any longer and said I had to go meet a friend. He seemed a little upset and confused. So we get back to his dealership he works at, and he said it was fine to just drop him off. He wanted to go in the dealership he owns while people were still working and eat the tacos. He said, "Let's go in. It's a beautiful place. I can drink comfortably, we can eat the tacos." I declined and we ate them in the car, quick. When the plan was for us to go separate ways, he then asked if I can just bring him home. I said, okay, anything to get him out of my presence at this point. He also lives close by my apartment. Before we head to his place, he said he has to grab some stuff out of his car. So he gets back in my car and I hear him put something in the side of the door. I look over and see the handle of a gun. My stomach immediately dropped. I was like, is that a fucking gun? He laughed and said, "Yeah, I can't just leave it in my car. I love guns." I told him I was super uncomfortable, and he just laughed like, "Why would you be uncomfortable?" Basically just said, because I don't know you all barely. This is our first time meeting, and now you have a gun in my car? Thinking back, I should have told him to get out of my car, but I had never been in this kind of situation before, and the fact that there was now a loaded gun in my car, and he was drunk, I did not know what to do, so just proceeded to leave the dealership and bring him home. So on the way to his apartment, he then asked me if he can see my phone. Thinking in my head like, okay, no way. You're drunk, you have a gun in my car, and now you want my phone in your possession. I asked why, and he kind of stuttered and said he wanted to look up a song. I said I would type it in, and he insisted that he type it. I then blurted out, "No, you have a gun in my car and now you want my cell phone. Not happening." He kept seeming so alarmed that I was so freaked out about him having the gun in my car and that he wanted my phone. After typing in the song he wanted, I continued to humour him and make future plans and talk about how great of a time I had. This was the only tactic I could think of to keep him in a positive mood and think things were going great. All I could think was the loaded gun next to him. So finally, after what felt like hours, we get to his apartment. As he's getting out of my car, he goes to grab his gun very haphazardly and literally has his finger on the trigger. At this point, he was still in the passenger seat of my car. He then steps out and could probably see the look of fear in my eyes and laughed, and then whipped the gun around the front of him and finally put it back in his back pocket. Mind you, once again, he's been drinking this entire time and also told me he had shot and killed a cat on purpose. He then told me to keep the bottle of vodka he had bought, so I had to come back later to watch a movie with him. I said, "Absolutely not. Take the bottle and I will call you after I meet my friend." I never reached out and I haven't heard from him again. Thank God.